Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my co-host today, Dusk.
Hello.
How's it going there, Dusk?
I'm all right. How about you?
Pretty good. Got a good set of movies to be reviewing today.
I
Got a
do
good set of
actually.
stuff to be reviewing this weekend. Got some good movies to be watching this weekend as well. Going to the
Thank
movie
goodness.
theater. Unfortunately, I was not able to see I'm Still Here. I missed out on that. I don't know. Maybe it'll still be playing. The show times are kind of weird. They usually it's either
Mm.
one showing early in the morning or then one kind of in the afternoons. There's only like two showings a day, so it's hard to catch that film. So yeah, maybe I won't be able to see it before the Oscars, which the Oscars are in March. That's in a few weeks there, hosted by Conan O'Brien, which I think is a decent choice. I think it's a good choice to host the
Mhm.
Oscars there. But yeah, but I usually try to watch all the Best Picture nominees, but I'm one off there from it. Though actually, I'm two off because I still have to see Conclave, which is on Peacock right now. Which Dust, you did a great review of Conclave right there, which is on YouTube.com. The afternoon two. If you want to type that in,
Thank you.
you did a wonderful review of that film, and that was on your list of favorite films of
It
2020.
was. It was in my top 10.
Yeah, so I got the great recommendation from Dust there, one of the best movies of 2024. But we got some great movies to review today. We're going to be reviewing The Monkey, Brass Monkey.
Mm.
There, the new Osgood Perkins film. There, this is his follow up after his acclaimed film Long Legs, which I like. Long Legs. Long
Yeah.
Legs is on my list of favorite films of last year. There, I know, people kind of turned on that movie a little bit. They were like, well, it's not that fucking scary. It's not
It,
all
it's
that.
it's the it was the atmosphere really,
Yeah.
and it still had really good acting in it. It may not like in a second viewing quite keep it, but it it's still there. Like it still put time and effort into it. It was I might have said Long Legs was an honorable mention or would have been, but it was on your list.
Mm, yeah. So, but I still like it. I haven't rewatched it since. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel differently if I rewatch it.
It's okay.
If I feel I don't know what streaming service it is on right now. I think it's on
Mm.
Max, isn't it? Or oh no, it's on Hulu. So you can watch it on Hulu.
There you go.
Disney Plus if you're feeling extra kiddish there. So there's that. But yeah, so review for that, The Monkey. Also Paddington in Peru. We didn't get a chance to review it last week, so I got the review. Me and Dusty got the review
Mm.
today for that film there. Ended up missing that. So there's that one. I know there was some other movies that got released this week. There was that movie with Daisy Ridley, The Cleaner.
Oh yeah, that one. Die
Uh
Hard, but with Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. I'll probably see it. Maybe I'll try to maybe catch it. Um,
In a couple months, that'll be the Viola Davis Die Hard, but uh, at a presidential summit.
what movie is that?
G10, I believe. I think it's called
G10.
G10.
Let me see what that is.
Yeah, the
G.
trailer just dropped. I think a
Oh,
couple days ago.
okay. I know
Doesn't
just.
mhm.
Oh yeah, G20.
G20? Sorry, G20.
Okay, it's an Amazon Prime thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at this. Dusk is, when he's excited about something, he'll tell
Oh
you.
my God, no! I'm not excited about it.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, Dusk, I expect a review of this G20.
I mean, I'll watch it for our job, but I'm not excited for it.
Yeah, okay. So it's Viola Davis, she's the president. So it's like what, like an Olympus Has Fallen type thing or something? Or
No, she's basically it's die like I said, it's Die Hard, but at a presidential summit with the other world leaders and a bunch of terrorists. Homelander is the head of the terrorists who come and invade this summit with other world leaders, and Viola Davis escapes the capture
Mm,
with her kids, and she wants to rescue one of her kids and her husband. And
damn, even he
yeah,
looks like Hans Gruber there.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, he
and he's
kind of has
just using his natural accent in this. I think.
oh, where's he from?
I think he's from. I think he's a Kiwi. He's either from New Zealand or
Okay.
can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Homelander in it, and I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, and it is awkward to seeing a 60-year-old Viola Davis try and beat up a room full of fully armed guards.
Yeah. I mean, she
And
looked good. I mean, she
I
hey,
mean,
she work out. She
no,
looked
no
like she
heart
was.
against her, but it suspends the disbelief.
Mm, yeah. Okay. G20. Okay. Okay. Die Hard, but with the president in a summit.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, we've had Die Hard with the president on a plane because that was Harrison Ford. We did that
Air
kind of
Force One, baby.
yeah. So we had that. I wonder who's the actor who's played the president in movies the most. I wonder. I was
Uh,
thinking that. Uh,
Bill Pullman played a pretty. Did Bill Pullman? No, no. I'm thinking of a different Bill.
yeah, it's got to be maybe because well, we already know Harrison Ford's done it twice.
Yeah,
I feel like Morgan Freeman's done it like 3 times.
at least three. Um, Aaron Aaron Eckhart might have played the president at least twice.
Yeah, because he was the president in Olympus Has
Yeah,
Fallen.
and they had like three of those.
Was it the same president every time?
I think it's for the first two at least.
Okay, I didn't watch the sequel because the
That's
sequels.
fine. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. White House Down was with Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, or Channing Tatum, I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got the reverse. They that one's more entertaining
really.
in a ridiculous way.
I think
In
I
a
like
ridiculous
Olympus. I
way.
think I'm more of a. I know this is the divide.
Mhm.
Like either you're an Olympus Has Fallen guy or a White House Down guy. I think I'm more of an Olympus Has Fallen guy.
Okay,
I think I like Olympus Has Fallen more.
that's fair. I like it more because of its Roland Emmerich'ness.
Mm, yeah. And then who did Olympus Has Fallen? It was damn. Who did that movie? Let me see. It was Antoine Fuqua. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Antoine Fuqua did that. All right. Yeah. But I didn't see the sequel to that. The sequel's what was it called? I forgot the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen. I forgot what that sequel was. But yeah, in this one it was Aaron Eckhart. But I don't think you can count that the same because he played the same character. If he did, I don't think you can count that multiple times. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Morgan Freeman. Probably has played the president in most movies there. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, so we got those movies, and then Saturday, Nick is going to be joining my other co-host there. He's going to be helping review Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is the new Spider-Man cartoon there. Then he's going to be also we're going to do a mid-season review for Invincible. Invincible came out. It's only got a few more episodes left. They're doing, I think, just 8 episode seasons, so it's only got
Mhm.
a few more episodes. Episode 5 released this past. I think they release one new one every Thursday. So they just released the new episode there. So do a mid-season review of that, and then also Cobra Kai, which we'll also discuss. Me and Dusk here will discuss that because he's also seen it. So that's it. Cobra Kai done. Cobra
Over.
Kai is
It's over,
finally
Johnny.
dead. There until they do a spinoff or a sequel series or
Or the
a
movie that's coming up with
yeah, or a movie adaptation maybe of the show. Maybe they'll do like a big like I don't know, TV movie maybe. Or something like that from Cobra Kai. But until then, yeah, this is it. So Cobra Kai 6 seasons. The final part of it released. Netflix did a thing where they released it in chapters. They released it in part 1, 2, 3. So the third part finally released
Mhm.
there, and we'll discuss that. And yeah, and that's something else I'm going to discuss with Nick. Sunday, I don't have any plans there, but Monday, I'm going to be doing a review there with Sage from Rated M for Immaturity. He's going to be joining me. Me and Sage are going to be talking about Daredevil, but not the MCU Daredevil. We're going to talk about the Ben Affleck Daredevil, the 2003 Daredevil, because
You're
the
going way back.
way back because of the new Daredevil Born Again series that's going to be coming out in a couple weeks. There, we're going to have Charlie Cox and Vincent
Born
D'Onofrio
again
back.
again.
Born Again, there. We're gonna do that, even though they kinda already adapted the Born Again storyline, but this is a little bit more of a different thing that they're
Yeah.
doing. They're just taking it as the subtitle of it to differentiate, I guess, from the past in Netflix Daredevil. But, yeah, I'm super excited for that. Can't wait for that. I love Daredevil.
Who
Love what
doesn't?
they did, with that Marvel Netflix
Out
series.
of all the series, Daredevil has was the best one by far.
I think Jessica Jones season 1 was really good. I
All
really
right, I'll
like.
grant you. Of the other three, yeah, Jessica Jones season one was probably the only one that came close.
Yeah. Now the other seasons of Jessica Jones, I didn't really like so
No,
much,
no,
but
no, no.
it wasn't as strong. But yeah, Jessica Jones was probably the first season was the only one that was like, wow, this is also really, really good.
Mhm.
That followed it. The Punisher, the other ones like the Punisher wasn't really as good.
First season was pretty all right.
It was decent. It was all right, but it wasn't as like I think obviously, I think that what's his name? What's that actor's name who plays the Punisher?
Oh, Oh my gosh.
Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Rick. Yeah.
Exactly.
What's his
Rubbing
name?
his bald head all the time.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, man. John Bernthal. Yeah, there you
John
go. John
Bernthal.
Bernthal. Yeah, I think he's a great Punisher, and he's gonna be back for Born Again. So he's gonna be. So I think
I'm
that's good.
excited for that. I'm excited for a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest Marvel thing I'm excited for
Yeah.
anymore.
And I know they've teased the return with, kind of like people, watching things only because, well, I just want to see it just because Daredevil. People go like
Yeah,
She-Hulk is like, well, fuck She-Hulk. I just want to watch because Daredevil's.
yeah.
I was like, I get to see Daredevil again, and Hawkeye. It's like, I mean, fuck Hawkeye. I just want to see Kingpin back, and this and that. So, yeah, they finally back, man. Finally back.
They're
And
back, baby.
they're already filming a second season, so they're already in the midst.
What?
Yeah, they're already in the midst of filming the second season already.
My God.
Yeah, there you go. So hey, we're gonna get that pretty soon there. But yeah, March 4th is when that's premiering there. So awesome stuff. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, me and Sage gonna be doing Daredevil 2003, doing a retro review for that. And I'll see if I can watch Devilman Crybaby there, which is the anime, which is on Netflix. I'll see if I can check that out. Night of the Devils there. So do that. And then I think Sage and then the other crew from Radiant Information, they'll probably come on and they're going to give their review of Section 31, which is the Star Trek film that was on Paramount Plus. So hearing a lot about that, so they might give a review of that. But yeah. So that's what we got on the docket there. And then next Friday, I don't know if there's anything big releasing next Friday. I have to check to see, so I don't know as yet. But yeah. Oh, right there. But very good. And of course, after this stream, I'll go ahead and raid somebody. Meanie Portable's on there, watching that good old wrestling. She's a wrestling content creator. Let's see who else is on right now. I see Pumpkin Boo's playing Avowed. People playing
Mm,
that Marvel Rivals there. No, Marvel Rivals is a huge game. They just released
they just did an update, yeah.
of the Thing and Johnny Storm. So they did that very much. Yeah, so maybe rate somebody playing that right there. People cracked out over that Marvel Rivals. People are loving it.
Hey, it's a good game.
Yeah, you a fan of it? You playing it a lot?
I am actually.
Oh,
I'm enjoying myself.
okay, who do you main?
I don't really main anybody. I just kind of play whatever I feel like. I guess the closest main is actually support. Oh my god, what am I blanking on him? Adam Warlock is probably the most.
Ah,
I
okay,
just like the way he feels in support.
okay. So you're a support guy. Okay, gotcha.
Support guy, and then when I'm not feeling that, maybe a Thor guy.
Thor. I do like the designs. A lot of the characters. I do think they did
Oh
some.
yeah, they did a great job getting them comic book styling, but allowing them to do something slightly different.
Yeah. And then the Thor they have in this is not your classic looking. It's more of like the Jason Aaron Thor.
Yeah,
So he's got like the missing arm, the arm of the was it the Destroyer and everything like that, and the long beard. So yeah, more like future Thor. So I do like that a lot. Um,
they
uh,
did recently release a skin of him that looks like regular Thor, what you would imagine from the comics.
okay, so not MCU Hot Thor,
I
Chris
mean,
Hemsworth?
they did that one from Ragnarok. That's a special one, but they did release one where he has like both his arms and he just looks like regular Thor.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, when I was playing, I've only played the game once.
Oh, okay.
uh, I mean, I liked it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's a
It's
game
fine.
that it's good to play with other people. I just haven't
Yes,
had,
very much so.
yes, I just haven't had a chance to play with the other people there. But is this what? So I think this is just the Ragnarok Thor right here to the right. That they did. Uh, and this is the new one they got released.
That was no, that one was there for a little bit. That one was the Ragnarok one. Yeah, kind of that one. Classic Thor. Left,
Wait,
upper left.
oh this. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool, badass. Okay, I like
He
that.
was he was an event skin. So if you did the Sue and Reed event or did that, you got him for free.
Okay, cool. How much are the skins? If you
Um, that's a point of contention. Some of them are almost like were super ridiculous. Some of them are almost like $20.
damn,
Yeah, that's what I'm
for
saying.
like a pack or like
No, for like one with
one
some
skin,
stuff.
$20?
Yeah. That one's particularly the one I'm mentioning is the Luna Snow super skin. I think it comes with like a few other things, but yeah, even the fans are like $20 is ridiculous, even for a few other stuff.
Well, I'll
Like
get
most
maybe
people are
Luna.
like, look, I'll pay $5 for a skin, maybe 10.
Yeah, I'd get maybe a skin with Luna Snow. I mean, maybe you want to goon out a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I get you, I get you, but
maybe
like
pay.
$20.
Yeah. I think for this, I mean, for a game like this, I think $2. I think you'd rack up a lot more. Like I'd pay maybe
Yes,
two
if it
to
was
two to
far
five.
more reasonable, skins were far more reasonable, you'd rack out, get so many more people willing to buy it.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, I enjoyed the game. I liked the game. I thought it was fun when I played it.
Mhm.
There, Sage he hates those type of games.
I mean, it's
Um,
fair. They're usually not my cup of tea usually, but they just did it well enough, and I have enough fun that I was like, "Oh, okay, I kinda like it." I play other stuff in the meantime, but if I just wanna get back into it, I play maybe a couple of matches.
mm, okay, yeah. When I played it, I liked Punisher. I liked how Punisher felt.
Mhm.
I liked who else did I like? I liked Hawkeye. Hawkeye was good.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of the characters, Black Widow was really good. A lot of the characters, projectiles, I liked. I thought that was really good. But yeah, okay. All right. Let's get into these reviews there, and we'll go ahead and get started. We'll do Paddington first, then we'll do the Monkey, then we'll do Cobra Kai,
Alright.
and then we'll head out of here with that. So let me pull my notes there for this good old Paddington in Peru. There, Paddington is on a new adventure. There where we find Paddington.
He's
Okay.
going to Peru.
Yeah, he's going to Peru. Hence the title, Paddington in Peru. There. All right. Okay, so our first review of the day is going to be for the film Paddington in Peru. This is the third film in the trilogy of Paddington films that we've gotten. I was a really big fan of the first two Paddington
Mhm.
films there. They're just very oh so delightful there as
Very
those
wholesome.
movies. Very wholesome, very fun. And we have another cute little story here with Paddington going on there. This time he's going to Peru. He's going traveling there with the little cute little bear. So you have Paddington there, who gets a note from his beloved aunt Lucy there, saying like, "Oh, hey, I miss you, Paddington. Why don't you come and visit me there? She's at a home for retired bears." And then so him and the rest of the Brown family there take a trip to Peru to visit his aunt, only to find that she's gone missing. So they set out on an adventure to go find her there, and when they're on this adventure to go find her, they stumble across other kind of things that happen as well, this grander, bigger mystery there, almost like a
Mhm.
treasure hunt in a way there that also they kind of embark on in their mission to find old Aunt Lucy. Dusk, what were
Mhm.
your thoughts on Paddington in Peru?
I mean, like the previous 2 movies, this movie's just very delightful, very sweet, very wholesome. The new characters introduced are, yeah, a little more a little ridiculous, but I mean, no more ridiculous than a bear in in clothing, talking, eating marmalade, and it keeps that tone while still treating events semi seriously, or it just feels very fun, which is something you get from time to time, and I'm happy to see that they've kept that feeling of wholesome adventure, but also characterization of Paddington still there, along with the rest of his family.
Hmm, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I came onto the Paddington movies kind of late there.
Mhm.
Everybody was talking about how wonderful they were, how fantastic they are. I mean, you look up the
It
scores there on Rotten
I think I
Tomatoes.
did a review of the very first one. We saw that, and you were like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm surprisingly pretty good." And then you saw it, and you're like, "I really enjoyed that."
Yeah, I did. I was one of the people that's like, man, it can't be that great. Because looking at the score on Rotten
Mhm.
Tomatoes, like it's nearly pretty much, I think,
Yeah, it's
100%
almost 100%.
for both the films. And I was like, well, damn. wow, okay. And then after finally seeing it, I was like, wow, this is really fantastic. It is really great.
Mhm.
There, and it's like you said, so delightful and cute and charming that this is here.
And that's
Um,
not easy to do. I want that to be very clear. But these movies make it almost feel effortless. Like it just the characters are just characters and just are so charming and kind of cute, but also fun.
mm, yeah. And this is a different director because I think the director of the first two movies was Paul King, if I'm not mistaken.
I
There,
yes, but he also he may not be directing this one, but he did do the story along with two other writers.
yes, he did. He did do the story for this. The person behind the director chair this time is a man named Douglas Wilson. There, he's the one that's behind this one. And yes, and he's mostly done music videos. So this is his first feature film.
Yeah, this is a heck of a feature debut.
Yeah. So yeah, again, it's another kind of solid outing there for Paddington. And you have some other kind of actors who kind of come into this movie. Sometimes it feels like I guess their thing is going out and getting kind of
Mhm.
legendary older actors to kind of come and be a part of these movies. Like in the last movie, was Hugh Grant? He was a part of the last movie, I think.
Yes, he was. I believe his character is Phoenix something.
Let me see. I think yes,
Phoenix
Phoenix.
Buchanan, I think.
And what a great name, Phoenix
Yeah.
Buchanan. Jesus. Man, and so yeah, he comes back there. He was in the second one, and then in this one, the person they get to be kind of some of the older actor there, the charming, handsome older actor is Antonio Banderas there,
Mm.
who's the captain of this boat. Him and his daughter, they do a lot of tours.
Hunter.
Hunter, yes, and him and his daughter, they do tours for people there around the island of Peru, and yeah, he ends up running into the family and say, "Yeah, I'll take you on this nice little tour." And then they interact with the family and everything like that. That's a lot of great moments. Antonio Banderas, I've been given great material. He's always fantastic. He's had this great run the latter part of his career. Really, there, Antonio Banderas really revitalized his career. And then also you have Olivia Colman, who plays the nun there, plays the Reverend Mother for the retired Bears, the place that Aunt Lucy, Paddington's aunt, is at. And she also provides a really great comedic role there as well. So a lot of these actors, they know what they're in and they're having fun with it, which I like. Um, I think that, the family, there's a lot of good physical gags that you saw in the trailer there with
Mhm.
Paddington on the boat, and the boat is he's losing control of it, and he's literally on the wheel and stuff like that. Like, just stuff like that is very fun and very, funny. And I kind of like a lot of stuff like that, what they do. And then the whole big kind of other grand mystery that kind of comes into here. Were you a fan of that, or you think that was kind of not so much, or what?
I was fine with it. The grandness it comes in pretty sparsely through the movie, so it's not too bad. Not that there weren't any even grand moments in the second one, or even the first one near the end when they were going through the whole museum situation.
Mm,
So these movies have had those moments, but I
yeah.
thought this was handled well enough.
Mm, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say that. I mean, even though I think that this is the weakest of the Paddington
Yeah,
films, I still think it's still pretty good. I
yeah.
mean, I don't think I'd have to see how the rest of the year shakes out. I don't think it'd be on my best of like maybe the last Paddington movies would be,
Hmm.
but it's still a cute film. I still like it. I just don't think it's as strong as the other two.
If if for in comparison, it's like saying the first Paddington Bear is like an A plus. Like this is how you do it for the most part, like an A plus. The second one's like an A plus. That's like really good sequel and did a very good job. This one's like an A minus.
Mm,
Like it's still good. It's still an A. It just there's some stuff here and there. There's not much for certain characters to do, but they're there all the same, and you are happy to see them because it does keep you connected and honestly grounded during the more ridiculous moments, especially during the boat scene and what later happens. And this is in the trailer with when they get to the ancient temple.
yeah.
You're just like, yeah, this is kind of all right, but it never gets too ridiculously slapsticky where you're kind of completely taken out of it. You are it takes you to the edge. Like it takes you to the absolute edge and then they know that they're taking it to the edge and then they pull it back with just
Mm,
enough realism that they're like, okay, all right. We're having fun. Let's pull a bit back. Can't go all the way stupid.
mm. Yeah, I think it has that good balance because you can get to a point where it's a little goofy. This does a lot of what the Wallace and Gromit films do and why they are so
Mhm.
successful, and does it kinda well there. And we even mentioned, Paddington when we were talking about the latest Wallace and
Mhm.
Gromit film, Vengeance Most Foul, and in comparison to that type of humor and that type of style done very well. Um, and you mentioned, like, the family there as well, like, that's what keeps the thing grounded, that's what the core, this the his relationship with the Brown family, there. Am I tripping, or did the son have, like, no dialogue? Did he talk at all during the movie,
He,
or
like, barely had any lines.
okay. I was like,
It wasn't just you. No, he barely had any lines. He just showed up to get a paycheck.
yeah, and, like, because it was like, okay, the dad talked quite a bit,
Yeah, and,
who
like,
the
Judy taught, but, like, poor Jonathan, he's just, like, sitting
yeah.
there.
I don't remember hearing that dude say nothing. I was like, did he have any? Because after I was like, "Wait, did he have any dialogue in this movie?" Like,
Yeah, he's
um,
in all 3 of them, but he's just like, "Yeah, not really."
okay.
He's just kinda there. Like, again, he has very few if a few lines at all, but yeah, it's mostly the 3, Henry, Mary, and the daughter, and,
Madeline.
Jonathan is just, like, there along for the ride.
Yeah, and the dad, Henry, is Hugh Bonneville, and then
Who's
it's,
who's just super charming. Great to see him again.
yeah, you got Emily Mortimer there,
Emily.
who's the mom, so she's in this as there, so yeah, so she was in people know her, she was in Scream 3, she was in, Shutter Island there,
Mhm.
she's been in movies like that. Then you have, another kind of actor who I feel like kinda wasted here a little bit. You have Haley Atwell who plays the boss of, the dad in this.
Yeah.
She comes on, I mean, you get a British person to come on and do an American accent,
Yeah, that was kinda weird.
yeah, I was like, "Okay, sure." So she comes in, she's only in, like, 2 scenes of the movie, like, a few
Yeah.
scenes. That's it, like, okay. I mean, Haley and I like Haley Atwell a lot. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why get Haley Atwell just to do these 2 scenes? I mean, you coulda
Yeah,
got
Peggy Carter.
yeah, you coulda got anybody to do that. So it seems kinda wasted in there, with that. But I thought that was gonna I mean, well, it does play into the story because like, she comes on, she's the, risk-taking, adventurous American who's like, "You gotta take more risks, Henry. You gotta do more," and that sparks his thing of like, "Sure, let's go to Peru. Let's drop everything we're
Sure, why
doing,
not?
let's just fuck our jobs, let's
I
just."
mean, to be fair, he was a very first movie, it was revealed that he was a heavy rocker. He was like a biker, rocker, rebel, and then as soon as he got a kid, it's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna get rid of all this and be, like, super safe."
Oh, yeah, he got lame,
Yeah, he
yeah.
got lame real quick.
Yeah, start wearing, buttoned up shirts there with cardigans on top and jackets on top of them, and became a real lame dad there. Yeah, so even though I don't think it's as strong as the other movies, I still like this movie quite a bit. I still think it is charming. I like what's going on here in the story. I do think it has some good humorous moments in it. I recommend people checking it out if they can. So I would give it a tune in for me. Other Paddington films I'd kinda give, like, a higher tune in or peak. This I
Yeah.
give just a tune in. What about for you?
Yeah, I'm kinda there with you. This is very much a high tune in, but yeah, the other ones I would definitely rate it probably higher, maybe even like a peak. But
Mm,
this one's just still pretty good. It never maybe reaches the height of the previous ones, but it's still a really good movie, and I definitely recommend anyone go to see the theaters. It's a very cute, fun experience, especially if you have family and you're like, oh, I don't know what to take them to. Paddington's an easy choice.
yeah, good family movie out right there you can watch. Good performances there from some of
Yeah,
the supporting cast. You got Olivia Colman, Antonio Banderas,
Bananas.
there, Puss in Boots,
Yeah,
you got them. Who comes in there?
it really is just the level of the first two are so good, and then this one is good, like still really good, just slightly just below, but it's still good.
Mm, yeah. So, yeah. 2 tune-ins,
Mm.
for Paddington in Peru. Alright. Let's cue up this, monkey, review there. Good old monkey there. The monkey man, he should have made a cameo. He should have been like, "Hey."
Oh no,
Yeah, he's been going like, "Hey, I heard y'all talking about some
he
monkeys."
just shows up punching things in the face.
Yeah. Alright. Okay. Alright, so our next review of the day is going to be for the film The Monkey. The Monkey is the latest film from director Osgood Perkins. Osgood Perkins, who just came off of doing Longlegs, which released last year there. And I was a fan of Longlegs. I like Longlegs. We talked about it a
Mhm.
little bit beforehand. Yeah, I liked it. It was one of my favorite movies of the last year there. I know some people eventually became like, this movie ain't really that scary. It's not really all that. At first, that's how sometimes things go, is when something gets a lot of hype, then a lot more people go like, well, it's not all that great. But hey, if you saw it and you liked it and you enjoyed it, it kind of really doesn't. Or if you saw it and you didn't like it, it kind of really doesn't matter so much with this film, because I think this film is so dramatically different than compared to his last movie, Longlegs. So what's going on in The Monkey? So the monkey here deals with two brothers. One is named Bill, and the other one is named Hale, and they're played by the same actor, Theo James. People might know Theo James. He was in the Divergent series of movies. There, that was the other YA movie that wasn't Hunger Games. And yeah, he plays the dual role there of the two twin brothers. There, haunted by their past of this evil monkey. There, this evil monkey, where it has this thing where if it bangs its drums, you wind it up and it bangs its drums, somebody will die.
Mhm.
And they'll die in these comically horrific Final Destination style type deaths there, as you see in the trailer here. And yeah, I mean, you kind of have that kind of. So that's the basic setup of here of these two brothers who, over the years, have become estranged from each other, must finally face off against each other again to conquer the evil of the monkey there. So yeah, Dusk, what are your thoughts here on the monkey?
Ah, Stephen King projects are very difficult to grade. It's very, very difficult. Sometimes they can be laugh out loud, ridiculous, or just not stick the land. Sometimes they come out lame. And then occasionally you have the really rare, very good adaptations of Stephen King's work, which find a way to kind of balance the, I'm going to be perfectly honest, ridiculous crap that's inside Stephen King's works that just can't be translated from his writing style to a picture. And to my surprise, this one kind of finds a weird black comedy balance
Mm.
to this more ridiculous story about basically a monkey's paw situation where it's like a you turn this key and this monkey creates someone's gonna die because they're gonna he's gonna tap its little drum and uses that as a, like it did in the short story, it's kind of like a use for grief and sadness and other things, and while also having some of the most ridiculous Final Destination kills in this movie. And they don't hold back. This can get gory sometimes.
Oh yeah, you saw a little bit of it in the trailer right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, these deaths are, yeah. I mean, it's so gory to the point where it's like you just gotta laugh.
That's what I'm saying, it's like a black comedy.
It's so ridiculous. And there is a Final Destination movie that is going to be coming out this year, Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh god,
Uh,
yeah, that's right, it is.
Yeah, which they showed a trailer for it, and the trailer was just one of the deaths. That's all it was. It was a dude at like a piercing shop or tattoo shop or whatever like that, and that was basically just it. That was the whole trailer. And so yeah, when you watch this trailer and when you hear us describe it, it's like, okay, so it's basically just another, it's Final Destination but with a monkey, basically is what you're saying. It's like, okay, yeah, it is pretty much that. Um, do you think it's anything more than that? Because I think, different
Mhm.
from just a regular Final Destination film, I think this movie also does well with the kinda comedic aspect of things, the way it kinda plays into it, this whole thing of just, like, this creepy kind of monkey type thing and, the origin of it, you don't ever know where this thing comes from,
I'm
which I
very
like.
happy that they didn't do that.
Yeah, which I
It
which I
doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter where this monkey comes from, because and sometimes, I talked about this with other horror movies that came out, like, last year, especially
Mhm.
the really terrible ones like Night Swim or something like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
where they always have to, it's always a thing in horror movies, they gotta investigate the origin of the evil, it's like, "Oh, what happened to this evil swimming pool? We gotta go back to the people who first, owned the
Yeah,
house," and
it's
everything
just
like.
like, "Nah, none of that. None of that's gonna save you. Look, the monkey is here, and you just have to deal with it."
Yeah. So, I do like they didn't do that, and it's just like, "Hey, it's here, it's what it is," you gotta have to kinda deal with it there, and the kind of the way it works there, because
Mhm.
throughout the movie you're trying to figure, okay, so what's the rules of this monkey, like how does it operate,
Yeah.
and who does it choose to kill? Seems like it's just completely
It's just
random
completely random.
in kind of what it does there.
Although What happens at the end, it, near the end, it does seem to be when it's forced or attempted to force it to choose, then it gets really mad.
Mm,
Like, it's a, "No, no, no. I'm a curse, and I'm basically like a curse. I'm a monkey's paw. I'm complete random, and it happens." But if you have, like, malintent, it seems to corrupt the monkey, and it seems to pervert it even more. And
mm,
they don't go into it, and I'm really happy that they don't. They
yeah,
just let actions kinda happen, and what happens kinda happens.
yeah. And like you mentioned there, thank you for bringing it up. I forgot to mention that that is based on a Stephen King story. There, it is based on him. There,
Yeah.
tons of Stephen King's work always kind of gets adapted. There, I mean, he's probably one of the
He's one of the
authors.
most adapted horror authors of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
Next to
look.
maybe Lovecraft and, oh my god, the guy who did Hellraiser,
Mm,
the
uh,
Hellbound Heart, the original story he did.
I mean, look at him. Of course, he looks like. I mean, yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
I mean, like, ooh, me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at him. I mean, yeah, of course. Stephen King. There, we have probably one of the most adapted, authors in all of history. There, in terms of his work. I mean, yeah. And there's even an actor who's always frequently in Stephen King adaptations, even in this. You have, yeah, so you got that kind of going on. But yeah. So besides for the two brothers there, who are both played by the same actor at both stages in their life, you have Theo James who plays him when he's an adult, and then you also have a boy who plays him
Christian
when
Convery.
Kisha Connor who plays them. He's the person that plays them when they're
He was in
the
Cocaine Bear.
okay, nice. He does a great job here because like they're supposed to be playing twins, but he does a great job at making them seem like two different people. Like you got kind of
Yeah.
the nerdy, because you see that Bill is the nerdy one, or no, Bill's the asshole, and then Hal's the nerdy one, right? Or is it Bill that's the nerdy one? I got which one is it again?
Hal is the one who's kind of enclosed. Bill's kind of the asshole one.
Yeah, Bill's the asshole. So he does a good job at differentiating between the two of like the asshole kid and then
See,
the
Acolyte, this is how you do it. If you're
yeah,
gonna
that's
ca
true.
if you're gonna do this and have one actor play two people, you you need to let them actually act like different people.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, hey, oh yeah, hey man, that's a good catch right there. If you bring up acolyte, yeah, this is how you do it actually correctly there. And yeah, he does a really great job. I think both of the actors do a great job at portraying the two of the different brothers there, and kind of both their different temperaments. Tatiana Maslany, who comes in there, people might know her. She was in She-Hulk there. Orphan Black was also another huge thing she
Yeah.
was in. She's the mother. You only get a little bit of her, but I think she's really great in this.
Yeah.
I think as the mother. I think she's pretty great. I wish we saw more of her.
Yeah.
You also get a Colin O'Brien who plays Petey, who's the son of the Hal
Which he
brother
does
there.
a solid job.
He does a solid job there. Little kind of annoying teenager, I thought a little bit, but I think
Yeah, like
they play it okay.
yeah, he's played alright, but, like, it's like, yeah, it's not the actor's fault. This is the stuff written for him.
Yeah. And then yeah, you also got Elijah Wood, who's also in this, who makes a
I
small
was
little
shocked that it was Elijah Wood. I'm like, "Oh, and then Adam Scott's in there too?"
yeah, Adam Scott comes in a brief moment. So
Yeah, like, for it's a small cast with a relatively, but they're all, like, good character actors
yeah.
doing something.
Yeah. And like I said, so if saw Long Legs
Mhm.
and you didn't really like it so
This has
much,
Oz Perkins' personality all over this.
yeah.
Very much. If you've watched any of his other work, Long Legs is probably his one of more serious with craziness happening,
Yeah.
but he had essence of this in Gretel and Hansel. Uh, I think probably one of his most serious ones was his first one, which was The Black Coat's Daughter, which is fantastic if you ever get the
Mm.
chance to see The Black Coat's Daughter.
Okay. I haven't seen that one. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think this is like I said, a kind of more different thing, different approach that he does with this compared to that. So I think maybe check it out, see if you kind of like it or not. Um, so I know some people are saying like, well, it really doesn't really got much going on except the kills or kind of what that's kind of about it, kind of going for it. And I don't know. I think, with the kind of kills that there are, very definitely crazy. And one of the things that's probably gonna maybe slightly interest you just off the bat watching the trailer. I think also the performance from Theo James, he does a great job, but he also does some narration in this movie. He's got a great voice. Him
Mm.
and that guy from Nope should do like a radio off, with their voices there.
Yeah.
What's that actor's name? Michael.
Oh god.
He was also in The Crow. He was the villain in that movie as well. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think they would be perfect. Just have a voice off to see there. Who
It's
Michael Wing.
honestly amazing seeing Theo James in this because the last thing I remember him from was like, "Aren't you aren't you the guy from the?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's he's from The Gentleman. He was just on The Gentleman show." And then the last thing I remembered, "Oh yeah, you were the guy from the Divergent series."
Yeah, he was that guy.
He
Yeah,
was a discount. Oh my god, I'm blanking on names today. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
everybody. Yeah, I'm on these things.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
Christian Grey,
I'm very tired today. I'm sorry.
discount Christian Grey, or
No, I just Franco. Discount Franco, his brother.
oh, Dave Franco.
Yeah, discount
Oh,
Dave Franco.
okay. I kind of see that a little
But
bit.
then Dave Franco is the discount James
James
Franco.
James Franco. Yeah. Yeah, so I enjoyed this. I had a good time with it there. I kind of liked a lot what was kind of going on here, the story that they were telling. Yeah, I like the performance from Theo James a lot. I think he does a good job in this. And I had fun with it. I had a good time with it there. Could have maybe done, more there in terms of the storytelling. I think sure
Sure.
it could have. But I think, he strikes the right tone with this. And, it's just not probably the movie that he wanted to tell there. I think Oscar Perkins, like he wanted to have a little bit more of a black, like you said, dark black comedy type thing with this type of thing here. But Dust, any more thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much in line with you where I had a fun time with this. I actually did enjoy the black comedy aspect of it. I mean, I am happy that at least the marketing understood what the assignment was and went, look, this thing's going to be ridiculous and the whole premise is ridiculous, but I was surprised to see that it was like, okay, you did when things got serious, you at least treated it seriously when those moments do come. So I was happy there. Overall, yeah, I mean it's mostly just the overall over the top kills that really kind of sell this movie with some actually strong performances by everyone in the cast. So honestly, as horror movies kind of go, especially for such a simple premise, I think it did a fairly solid job. Honestly,
Mm. What'll be your rating?
I'm honestly I'm actually going to give it a low tune in.
Low tune in? Okay.
Like that's like like yeah, low to solid tune in. I thought this was pretty solid overall. I mean, it doesn't do anything super super well. It's not really scary. Not really. It's more over the top black comedy. It's not a traditional horror movie in that sense, but it is gory. It is very fiendish in the way it kind of treats itself. Yeah, it's moments like that happening where it's just like crazy
Yeah.
stuff like that happening. So, and this is going to be for a very particular audience, but I think it's just relaxed enough and just funny enough in its own stylings that it can get a broader audience. Where otherwise, something like this would kind of be not very not very much interested by a lot of people. So yeah, I have to give this like a solid, probably solid tune in, honestly.
Okay. I'll give it a solid tune in as well. I think we've had a good start to the year for horror. I think it's been
Yeah.
really good. Hard Eyes, I saw that. I thought that was really good.
Yeah,
Presence.
after his after Nick's review of it, I ended up checking it up too. I was surprised. Yeah, the marketing is really doing it a disservice.
Yeah. So that's really good. Do you see Presence? That's really
I
good.
have not seen Presence.
That's the Steven. So I thought that was good. So it's been a good start of the year for horror stuff. I've liked it. So that's pretty good. It's much better than like last year.
Oh God, Night Swim and all those others. Yeah.
Yeah, Imaginary and all that other
Oh,
stuff. Yeah. So that I did enjoy. I've enjoyed this a lot. And this also adds to the list of good horror movies that have come out so far this year. And I also would give it a tune in as well there. Yeah. Good kills there as well. Love the performances there. I mean, I get why now people can't recognize Superman when he has his glasses on. 'Cause I was like, that looked like completely another kid. I was like, oh, these are two different kids. There's I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I totally get it now." So yeah, yeah. So 2 tune-ins for the monkey
hmm
there, brass monkey. All right. So, I'm bringing my notes there. We're gonna talk about
hmm
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, and they even play You're the Best.
They do. I was shocked.
They got the rights to it. Yeah, you're the yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me pull up a trailer for it. Man. Okay. All right. So our last review of the day is going to be for Cobra Kai season 6, part 3, A, B, 1. There. So this is it. This is it. This is the final season of Cobra Kai. We review the other parts of season 6, part 1 and part 2. You can check those out on the website right now, youtube.com. The afternoon. Just type it in. You'll be able to find us there. So this third part finally released there this past week, and we're gonna be giving you all the review for it. So to catch you up a little bit of what's been going on in the season 6, at the end of part 2, well, somebody died. Somebody
Yeah.
ended up stabbing themselves to death. Trying to get vengeance on an opponent, and he ended up blocking the attack. The guy ended up kind of dying there, killing himself, impaling himself with a knife. And
Whoops.
this was yeah, whoops, yeah, didn't mean to do that. There, and that was one of the Cobra Kai there. That was one of the members there of that team. And yeah, this
Yeah,
was during the
Quan.
Kwan. That was on the Seikai Taikai there, the big martial arts tournament that this season has been building to. All these martial arts teams across the world joined together to fight in this big tournament there. And then after the events of that happened, of course, they were like, well, yeah, it's canceled. I mean, what the fuck? Kid died. Yeah, of course,
I was actually shocked by it, considering how blazing it's been before, and going, "Ah, no, it's fine." And they're like, "No, we actually took the reasonable responsibility and go, yeah, no, it's over.
yeah.
Somebody died. It's off."
And I don't know how long it was, but like what they're saying, like is the gap between when the kid before they started up
Can't be
again.
anything more than like a month or two.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, and you have Terry Silver, who's a returning villain there from the Karate Kid franchise. There,
I mean,
um,
considering what happened in part two, most of the other people there are disqualified because they
yeah,
incited a riot
so you got that. So he's one of the people pushing to bring back the Saikai Taikai. It's like, okay, I want to bring it back
for his
there
own reasons.
for his own personal reasons. So he's trying to push it back there. I mean, he's trying to, bring it back and everything and have them compete again with it. And one of the agreements is okay, everybody, all the coaches have to agree for it to be on so we can actually start it up again. And of course, everybody did. I mean, you have LaRusso, Danny
Mhm.
LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, he's one of the last holdouts, but of course, because this is Karate Kid, right? It's Cobra
Yeah.
Kai, of course, they're gonna end up fighting each other. So of course he finally does agree, and it's like, okay, sure, let's do this. And instead of going back to because I think the country what was the country they were in? Brazil or
Yeah.
okay, they were in Brazil. So instead of it being Brazil, because it's like I guess because they didn't have Brazil money anymore, they're like, fuck it, we're gonna
We
put
got
it
one
right back.
season there. All right. One
Yeah.
part of a season.
So we got to go all the way back here to back to the All Valley, back to where it all started. There we're gonna have these teams compete to who's gonna win the Saikai Taikai there, and who's gonna end up doing that. Yeah, so yeah, and then the big competitor since you have Martin Cove there, who also is a returning Karate Kid villain there, who also comes back there, who's John Kreese. After the events of what happened after the second part, he's kind of like, yeah, I mean, he's finally seen the light. I guess that was the big thing that kind of woke him up of like, my God, like what have I been doing? With
Well, he was so bent on revenge and he was trying to stab Silver that his own weapon got dislodged and he didn't have it. So it becomes a secondhand kind of a someone took my weapon from me and used it and then they kind of died from it. So I am personally responsible because I didn't secure my weapon.
yeah. So you have that kind of going on. So Cobra Kai, you have it where the team has basically been disbanded there. You see kind of after that fall, they, ended up burying Quan. You saw he had a Jedi type funeral there.
He had
With
no family.
yeah, the flames and they put his coffin on there and the flames kind of go up, which I think I would kind of want that. That's kind of a cool way to go
Yeah.
out. So yeah, and he's like, yeah, I can't continue with this. But you have the old master there from Cobra Kai there. I forgot that what's his name? I don't even remember his master's name.
Grandpa.
Grandpa. Okay, it's just Grandpa. The
I'm sorry, I don't. I just knew him as Grandpa Cobra Kai.
Yeah, sure. Let's call him. That's a better name for him. Grandpa Cobra Kai. That's a much better name for him anyway. So Grandpa Cobra Kai there, and he's this harsh guy who has no sympathy at all, no mercy. There he truly exemplifies that, and he's trying to push this other kid to be the new Quan, to be the new star of
Yeah,
this, and then Kreese finally shuts that down, and in a major way,
yeah. He's like,
and
no mas, no more.
yeah, and he does sign up Cobra Kai just for one student, and that is for Terry, who's played by Peyton. I think her name is Peyton List there, Tori Nichols, for her to compete under Cobra Kai, for there. And her and Kreese always had like a special relationship, so that comes
Yeah, it's always
about
been like a father-daughter relationship.
yeah, father daughter type relationship there. So he's always been one of that's been probably one of the more closer people to her out of all the senseis that you have in the show.
Yeah,
Um, And what this season does is it kind of goes back to, with the final fights of where it all started to begin with, with Miguel and with Johnny, because they have to close out this series with two fights. Miguel has to fight the top opponent for that dojo. I forgot the name. It was
Iron Dragons.
Iron Dragons there, who's the sensei for that one is Evil
Sensei
Nick.
Wolf.
Yeah, Evil Nick, as I call him.
Yeah, Louis Tan.
Louis Tan, who was in people might know he was in the Mortal Kombat movie, whose
Yeah,
special
great
power
martial artist in his own right.
yeah, great martial arts too, so he's got some experience there. He was in the Mortal Kombat movie, whose his special ability was he got his ass beat. He could take an ass beating. That was his special
God, it's
power.
such a shame because Cole Young is like the actor Louis Tan is a great guy, but he could have just played Liu Kang and nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Liu Kang. There you go. We have our Liu Kang. He's perfect.
Mm,
We didn't need
yeah.
to make Cole make a brand new plot armor. He literally has plot armor character. You're like, no, we literally had an introduction to the universe. Liu Kang. There you go.
Yeah.
He's the perfect age, perfect build, perfect height. Got a great look.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good look too. Yeah. And he looks really good there. So yeah. So people might know him from that. He's the sensei of that dojo there, which is like I said, head up by the financing, the backing is Terra Silver with that one. So they're the evil group. They're the Cobra Kai evil group
They're
of
the worst Cobra Kai.
yeah, you got that, and then the opponent there is like this Terminator, you know,
Yeah.
really
Axel.
yeah, Axel, the big Terminator kind of built kid there that they got to face off against in order to
Yeah, I must
win.
destroy you.
Yeah, so that's kind of the setup you have of this one. Dust, what did you think about this part 3 compared to the other parts there? And overall, what
Uh
was your opinion on season 6?
Thankfully, this final part is very condensed. It gets rid of most of all the fat. It's aside from like one episode with Chosen, and that's fine. But other than that, it kind of gets down to brass tacks and goes, look, we got to wrap this all up. And boy, howdy, do they wrap it all up. Everybody kind of has the end of their arc or concludes their arc that's been building for the last couple seasons. Characters that have been relegated to that were originally maybe main cast members that are now recurring characters finally get a conclusion to their stories. Everybody gets a wrap up. There's even like a nice one of the judges is a nice cameo, like huge pull from Karate Kid to bring him back as a cameo. And it's like this last part really wanted to go out with a bang, and boy, howdy did it.
Mm, yeah. Um, this last part of this, so like I said, I mean, Cobra Kai, the show had any it was better than it had any right to be,
Oh, absolutely.
given what the material was, and I like the Karate Kid movies, I like some of them,
Sure. There's a
up
reason
to
why Karate Kid 1 and 2 are considered classics. And after this show, Karate Kid 3 has now been re-looked at.
mm, yeah, so, and, I did like what they did of, like you said, bringing back older members of the cast there, from the Karate Kid franchise, which I thought was really great. Unfortunately, spoiler, they weren't able, I guess, to bring back Hilary Swank, which I
Yeah.
was kinda disappointed. I was like, "Ah, damn."
Yeah. Like next Karate Kid. Come on, let's get you in there.
I was kinda a little disappointed by that,
I was happy last season that they got or at least last part that they got us Mike Barnes. I was happy to see more of him for what little
yeah,
that we could.
yeah. So, yeah, and, like, people like Chosen, who I think has been a great addition,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
who was the villain of Karate Kid 2, and
Yeah.
they do a great stuff with him there,
It feels a
and
little kind of rushed with Chosen stuff, especially like he gets like a Dear John letter, basically. That was
Mm.
funny. Like, how are we gonna wrap this up? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's still, carrying a torch, a little bit of love for
For
the love
Kimiko.
interest. Yeah, Kimiko, who was the love interest of the second Karate Kid film there. You see that he still has that even all these years later, for that. So, but I love his character. I love
Oh
him bringing
yeah.
him back, and I think he's a great addition in there. He's one of the senseis that trains, the kids under the Cobra Kai Miyagi-Do, brand there. So he's one of them, along with Mike Barnes, who comes in as well as one of the senseis. So I think he's a really great addition. Um, and, with Johnny and Danny, there I mean, yeah, Johnny and Danny, they, here it's no more really, like I said, since this is only like 5 episodes, this final part, the season in total is 15 episodes. They don't have any, like, needlessly, argument that they, just have argument for argument's sake. Because I think
Yeah, no, they're done.
that's how I felt about the second part, or it was
Oh
yeah,
yeah. First
what
and second part, really.
like, bro, y'all just arguing for nothing.
Yes.
Like like, y'all don't even need to be
You
arguing.
could
Y'all
cut out
yeah.
that's my biggest problem, I think, with the show overall would be the needless arguing sometimes. There's so much you could have cut out, but I know they gotta extend time. This, they're like, "Look, we don't have time for that." Characters are actually communicating and talking to each other and bringing up good points, and then they handle their crap, and then we move on.
Yeah.
It's so
So
refreshing.
and a lot of with the second with this final part is because it is the final part, so a lot of the other, like, side auxiliary characters here, there's not really any real focus on them, really. So, like, people like, Mohawk and, uh,
Eli.
Eli and
Eli and his buddy.
Kenny, and then the other kids, like, there's the
Oh,
debate
Kenny
girl.
doesn't even get, like, any. Kenny is just there. He I don't even think he gets a line.
Yeah, so he's just kind of there, helping,
Yeah,
like
Dimitri and, Eli, their story gets wrapped up. Kenny does get mentioned in the end. He does get a little bit of a wrap up, which is nice, but
yeah,
everybody does get some form of it, but really, yeah, mostly it's a Robbie, Miguel,
Tori,
Amanda, Tori. Those, like, the
Danny,
main ones.
Johnny.
John Kreese, Terry Silver, and, Carmen, Daniel, Johnny, and Chosen. Like,
Yeah,
those main ones, they get most of the wrap up.
yeah. But you're right. Like they do a good job at with all the other characters kind of going around, and there's like a montage of like, okay, this is what's gonna happen with this character, and this was gonna happen with this character. A lot of the ones that we saw, yeah, they do a good job of doing that. But yeah, like you said, for the most part, the main people that you saw at kind of the first couple seasons of the show are the people that are gonna get the main bulk of it, which they should. I mean,
Yes, they should, yeah.
they're the main stars, what they should. Um, an issue with this final part, some of the main
Mhm.
issues here, is one, I don't like how they dealt with the Robbie thing.
Mm.
Meaning that there's a moment because it just feels like, okay, you're going into the recycle bag of tricks again. Because there's a moment where he's having a fight, and then instead of it having a winner or loser, it's like, okay, we're gonna do a thing where it's kind of like, well, he gets hurt in it, which is already something you did already in some of the other fights in
Yeah,
past
they literally did it with the other kid.
Miguel, they
Yeah,
already kinda
yeah.
did. Even though that wasn't intentional, that was, like, him hurting himself, but I thought that that was a little lazy, in terms of
I
that.
The only excuse I get, but they didn't even go into it, was that almost in a weird way, it was like a tragic cyclical for Johnny, and that it wasn't really a punishment for Robbie, but I wish they'd gone more into it where it felt like where Johnny injured, Daniel way back when. He did the sweep the leg.
Oh, that's a good point.
He did the sweep the leg back then. Now he's seeing his son, injured and in the same position that he had put another person into because he wanted to win.
Mm,
And at that point, but Robbie is not Johnny. And Robbie instead of going like letting that define his entire life, he's like, I could have won, but I'm looking at all the good things it brought me. And that brings instead it kind of lifts Johnny up instead of bringing him down. So as a symbol, what it symbolizes and what it represents from a character point of view, I was more okay with it, but they didn't really bring that up that it was almost like a cyclical thing. But I'm fine with that just being in the background. But yeah,
mm. That's a
that's what
good
it felt
point.
to me.
That's a good point. I like that. Okay. Yeah, so that turns me around a little bit on it. I did. That's a great point. That yeah, how it kind of comes from circle with that. And it also does in another way with the ending with Johnny and I mean, is it really sport to say Johnny? Of course Johnny wins, of course. I mean, like of course it happens where he wins. But
This has all been building up to, and I'm glad they didn't forget about it.
because they
It's
do a
the
thing.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, and it ends with the Cobra Kai fighters winning it for people, right? So when Robbie gets hurt,
Yeah.
then it's like Miguel has to fight the big Terminator kid, and of course he ends up fighting him, and he uses the move that he got initially hurt with, the spinning kick, and he ends up kind of winning it there. And then when that happens, it's like, oh my god, the score is tied, and we have to do a tiebreaker. And the only way to do a tiebreaker is both the senseis have to fight each other. So that's when Johnny has to train to fight Louis Tan, and
I do
then
love that they bring up like Johnny, you're like you're old when he considers martial arts. You're an older man at this point. But by this show's conclusion, I think he's in his 60s now. William Zabka.
yeah, because I think that's how
Yeah,
your
he's
older
59. He's just to be 60, and Louis Tan is like 38. So yeah, Louis Tan isn't old, in the older regiments, but yeah, 59 trying to fight a 38-year-old.
yeah. Um, that's where you have to suspend a lot of disbelief.
I
It's
do
like,
like that they talked about it. They do mention it. It's not just something they just wash away. It's like, okay, he doesn't have a lot of gas in the tank. He only can do that for so long. So he has to out strategize Wolf. He
yeah,
can't physically beat him, but he can out strategize. He can get in his head or he can outmaneuver in certain areas for only for a little while.
yeah. And it's like, they kind of stress like, yes, I mean this guy, yes, he's bigger, faster, stronger, younger, but you're Johnny, and you're Cobra Kai, man, and you got the heart of a champion. So go
Got
out
the eye
there,
of the tiger.
go out there and beat him. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, okay, yeah. I mean, of course, you got to suspend a little, disbelief when it kind of comes to something like that. But okay, sure.
I do
Uh,
appreciate that at the very all the hits they gives him are surprise hits that are just like quick surprise hits that Wolf was because Wolf is trying to destroy him, demoralize him, completely eradicate him. And so he's just kind of hitting him with quick hits or hits that surprise him because he's not expecting it. And it all culminates in Johnny learning a little bit of a lesson of balance, and that he learns the lesson from years ago. There's a good point that LaRussa brings up, Daniel, where he's like, because Johnny's like, I'm going to use this fancy kick in the end. When I ran out of options, he goes, I mean, it's a good kick, but it leaves you wide open. And one fancy kick is going to win you the tournament. He goes, it worked for you. He goes, it only worked because you ran right to me.
yeah,
Like the only reason my crane kick BS worked was because you just rushed in. And you do the same thing with him. He's a buzzsaw. He'll cut you in half.
mm, yeah,
So it's not like they didn't know or consider that. But I do, yeah. It's almost like we've already pushed the realms of of whether or not of disbelief. But yeah, it's like, all right, Johnny, got to do it. You just got to outthink him in these scenarios or outmaneuver in a way that he isn't expecting.
yeah. So and like I said, it does end where it started with Johnny with Miguel closing it out, and William Zapka. I mean, he has a great emotional moment
Oh my god, he has so many.
in this, especially the one with John Kreese,
Oh yeah,
where he's laying it all out there. So he's going for it in that final moment. I think he does
get your Oscar, William. Get your some.
and he lays it all out, man. And he does. I think he does a great job with that moment. And him and John Kreese, Martin Grove do a great
Oh,
job with this.
it's a great moment.
It's all about him going back. It's like, you let me down, and that moment that kind of, like you said, defined his whole life. That moment in 1985 where he
84.
84 there, where he, let him down and like bullied him for not winning and treated him as less than and called him a loser. And it's like that just defined his whole life and kind of stunted him
Yeah.
there. And he could have like
And the thing that's I do like that they bring up, and it wasn't the fact that he was choking him out. It wasn't the fact that all that. It hurt. What was hurt is that he basically just threw him away afterwards.
mm,
That's
yeah.
what hurt more because he's like, I idolized you.
Mm,
Like you were basically like a surrogate father to me, and then I was just nothing to you.
yeah. So I thought that was really well
Oh
done.
yeah. Broke my
Uh,
heart, my cold
and
dead heart.
they try to do a similar thing, and this is probably my one of my most hated moments for me in all the series. They try to do a similar thing there with Danny and with Mr. Miyagi, where he
Oh,
has some type of dream,
he has a
vision,
nightmare.
nightmare type thing,
He has basically a vision.
and you have Mr. Miyagi who comes back, but it's CGI Mr. Miyagi, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're fighting the bullies from the first Karate Kid movie, like the scene where they're in Halloween, where they're dressed as the skeletons,
And the
and
stunt guy, he's got shadow over his face, so they don't have to use the CGI effect.
that I didn't understand why you had to do that. I thought that was
I
completely ridiculous.
understand. He could
Uh,
have just it didn't even need to be that. It could have just been a voiceover.
yeah, and they already did it in the second part because there was the vision he had, a dream, another kind of dream, nightmare type
Mhm.
thing. Where he's dreaming about Mr. Miyagi in the Kai Tai there, where he killed a guy or where he was fighting in it, and then
No mercy.
he was the person that was he was going up against, and there at first it was like the younger version of Mr. Miyagi, so you had a different actor, which I don't mind. You get who's
Yeah,
playing
that's
like
fine.
young Mr. Miyagi, but then all of a sudden it changes to now it's old Mr. Miyagi, of Pat Morita, with how he looked there, and it's like you didn't need to do that, and you didn't need to do it here as well with the whole thing of them doing that, and I was kind of like, I just hated that moment. I mean, I just didn't like that at all.
It's like in Star Trek Nemesis, lest it be completely forgotten, which it should be. It's a terrible movie. Uh, there's a moment where Picard is showing a picture to oh my god, to another character, and he's like, "Oh, as a boy, when I was a young man, they bet me to shave my head, so I shaved my head." So it's a picture of him when he's younger, shaving his head. It's like, we realize that your baldness is because you're an older guy, right? I don't need to see you young to know that you were bald. I got the picture. Like, we could just show you've had head of hair before. You didn't have to, but it's like the audience is stupid, so we got to let them know that this is Picard because he's bald.
Mm,
He's always been bald. That's kind of what it felt like that as you were explaining it. It's like, yeah, you didn't need to do that. He could have just you didn't need to show his old face for me to know that that's Pat Morita.
yeah, like I just hated that. I hated that moment of that, and it just kind of makes me fear of like Hollywood future productions, movie shows of just like,
You know,
hey, let's just do CGI. Let's kind of recreate that with CGI, just like how Star Trek did it with Rogue One. I mean, Star Wars did it with Rogue One, and bringing back that actor to
it
do
literally
that.
could have just been him doing something in the background. You just see the back of his head. And you never see his face. And then
Yeah,
when he does turn around or whatever, it's not a direct shot of him. It's just only on his shoulder, and you just use other camera techniques to show his hand and whatever, and just Daniel's and reaction, Ralph Macchio's reaction, and then he wakes up.
yeah. Yeah, you could have, like I say, could have done a speech there as well, or you could have
Mhm.
cobbled together footage from the other Karate Kid movies, and
Yeah,
then like him thinking about Mr. Miyagi and him remembering him, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember all the great teachings that he told me, and all this other great stuff, and all these great moments I
it's not
had
much
with him.
that much different from what he's already been doing already.
Yeah, so it's just like I don't understand, that point. So I just really hated that.
That's fair. I understand. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, but I completely understand.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that. But yeah, I mean, does it close out things well? I think so. I think it does close out things pretty well for the most part. There's a really, I mean, crazy moment with Terry Silver
Oh
and
yeah, I was I
John,
was I was wondering if we were going to talk about that.
that happens that I don't know if you can even predict, like, if you're just thinking, like, you haven't seen it yet, that you can even predict of where that's kinda gonna go. And it was just kinda like, "Wow, okay, sure." I can't believe that you actually
Yeah.
did that.
I'll tell you off stream, but there was a deleted scene for that, and they cut that because it would have been too ridiculous.
Okay, I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah, I'll let
Okay.
you know.
But yeah, so with
But
that
rest
kinda
assured, Terry Silver's story ends conclusively.
yeah, I mean, so that ends kinda conclusively there, and I mean, if you've been rocking with this show for all these years, this isn't gonna be anything
No.
probably more creative than you've already experienced. I don't know if this will be finally the jump the shark moment for you,
There's
Um,
there was no, like, character assassination. There was no, "Oh, this character wouldn't do this." It's just degrees of how far are they going, and it just is getting to the point where it's getting too even too ridiculous for this, and they're ending it here. So it's like, "Okay, fine."
yeah. And like I said, we're still gonna, there's still gonna be if you're still that much in love with Karate Kid and still want more of that in that Karate Kid universe there, the KKCU or whatever, don't add the other K, there with this. I mean, hey, there's that other Karate Kid movie that's coming out this year with Jackie Chan and with Ralph Macchio that's coming back there, and I guess it is a part of the same universe. I think you were telling me that, right? Or
Yeah, so at least from what I'm understanding, it's Jackie Chan is playing a Miyagi. They're kind of retconning it that he's not it not being a separate universe or a remake, but it's being like a Miyagi. I'm curious to see how they're going to explain that. Like it's like a long lost uncle from the Miyagi family from Japan that um, went to China, which is
oh,
entirely possible considering the wars that China and Japan have had.
mm,
And they just stayed there and kept the Miyagi karate and kind of melded it with kung fu because it was more kung fu in the remake. But I mean, that's what the Miyagi Do kind of does is it adapts with defensive techniques. So it's not completely out of the realms of, but at least that's what I'm guessing because he doesn't really talk about Jaden Smith. So and I
oh,
don't blame him. I don't
what's
blame
wrong
him
with
at all.
Oh man. Yeah, so hey, people want to still see that with
You
it.
got more coming.
Got more coming with that. But yeah, like I said, I mean this show, eventually it was kind of coming to that point, like I was saying with season 5 when we reviewed that of like, I mean, good as much as I'm having fun, I was like, okay, it's time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is the final season because yeah, there's only so much you can do with this karate type aspect of this, and it was starting to get super
I
repetitive.
was
And
starting to say that by season 4.
season 4, you were starting to say that, yeah. So
Yeah, by season 4, I was like, "All right, guys," and then you're like, you're the one who told me like, "Oh, they got another season coming up, or another season or 2," and I'm like, "They can't do any more than 2 more seasons of this. There's no way."
yeah,
And turns out I'm right because yeah, just like you, I'm like, oh, "Okay,"
yep,
because you really can't. We've already pushed it way too far,
yeah.
and while having some realms of realism, and we've kind of pushed it to the I know this is a world where karate solves all problems and there are no police. But but
Yeah.
even now we're getting to the point where like, okay, but when they did this earlier part of the season, it's like, oh yeah, you're out of jail and everything works and it's this and like what?
Mm, yeah.
My
I
lawyers
mean,
get me out of everything.
yeah, so I
I will say this. Everyone in Karate Kid must have got whatever magic Ralph Macchio has to make him look so young because they have all aged fairly
yeah,
gracefully.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, you look at I don't know. Maybe, hey, maybe really does karate does help. I mean, hey, man, maybe it's that karate magic, I guess. Because yeah, even William Zakpa looks good. I mean, he's almost 6 years old, and they're still very active too. Like I mean, obviously they have to do some cuts and stuff like that with the
Oh,
motion,
sure.
obviously, but they still look good physically in shape. Like even Martin Crove here is John Kreese, who's in his 80s, I think.
Mhm.
I'd love to look like that when I'm in my 80s, be that still
Yeah.
mobile and move around. I think this is a scene of him, at the rap party where he's dancing and shit, like, he's moving around. Let me see if I can pull up that clip, like, he's dancing and everything like that. I was like, "Oh, shit, he still got some moves, man." Like, "Hey, look
Busting
at why."
moves, man.
Yeah, watch out there, man. The love interest from, Karate Kid 2, she looks really pretty.
Kimiko,
Um,
yeah.
she looks very
Oh,
gorgeous
yeah, she looks
still.
beautiful.
Yeah, so something was in that water, man, that Karate Kid water. So shout out to him for that. I think this is it right here.
Oh.
Yeah, he's getting it, man. Look at him. Yeah, he's like, okay,
Yeah, since it crease.
yeah, awesome stuff. So
Hey,
yeah,
good for you, man.
yeah.
I mean,
I
he especially this season, he definitely earned it.
Oh yeah. So awesome stuff. Yeah, yeah. Look, he getting low too. Like man,
Ooh.
hey man, shout out to him, man. Getting low. All
Yeah,
right.
the man's almost 80. He's still good.
Yeah. So what will be your rating here for season 6
Uh,
as a whole, man? Now that we have the final part, man.
as a whole for the entire season, Um, it feels a little bloated, quite a bit bloated, unfortunately. There's some stuff that could have easily cut out. It could have cut down to been a fine 12 episode series. Could have just been a 12 episode season instead of the 15. It probably would have done just fine. But the last part, definitely the last two parts, I would say. Part two's latter half and this final part really brings it home, really kind of clenches it. I was so happy that the show did not forget this is a story about Johnny Lawrence, because for a little while the series it became the Ralph Macchio story. And I'm like, we have a whole couple movies about Ralph Macchio. I'm here for Johnny Lawrence.
Mm.
And they really remembered that he is the character. He is the main guy, the reason for the season for this. And it just ends with a bang for the most part, but obviously for the most part. And I had a great time. I don't know about you, but I had a great time watching this. Honestly, I really did.
Yeah. Um. So what would you give?
Uh oh yeah, this is definitely a high tune in. This is a really fun time.
Mm. Okay.
Despite its flaws, despite all of its stuff, it ends very well. And honestly, how many series can you say ends really strong that goes on
Sometimes it,
this long?
sometimes that's tough. It's tough for shows to stick the
It's
landing.
always tough to stick the landing.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and watch all the seasons, see if
Yeah.
like where I would rank this season or if it's my favorite season of the show. I was satisfied with the ending of it. I liked, like you said, they did give a wrap up to pretty much all the characters, and you're, interested to see. I don't know if they are going to do possibly a sequel series or spinoff series or whatever. Maybe that's open in the future.
Hmm.
Maybe they do something like that. Who knows if they want to play around and some more of the stuff there with that, and to see kind of where some other characters go. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the show had any better. It was better than it had any right to be based on the material of it. I did have a lot of fun watching this, even as crazy as it got
Oh yeah.
with these karate tournaments and the fact that people are so invested in this karate shit.
They're so invested that when arguing over the mic or who's going to present at this location, they're like, "Well, I want to do it. You're in the valley now." And he's like, "Okay, well, we'll do it the old-fashioned way to decide who's going to host." Old-fashioned way, and it's just all right. Whoever beats the other person first wins. Ready? Kick to face. Any,
Yeah.
any other people want to challenge me? No. All right, let it begin.
Wow. So I mean, yeah. So even as ridiculous as even if it can be so over the top, it's still fun in that, and I think it kind of is in on it's kind of in on the joke itself with that of like, okay, we get it's kind of crazy, but you do buy that. You do buy that these two dudes who are now in their close to in their 60s,
Yeah.
who be in their 60s, still have this such a strong emotional connection to their karate teachers from what I mean back when they were teenagers.
Yeah.
Like you still believe it. It's like, yeah, I mean, Mr. Miyagi, man, he's like, and it does help that I mean, stress that both Danny and Johnny never had strong parental, father figures in their life. They
Yeah.
basically were pretty much raised by single mothers there. Even though Johnny, his father was around, but he was neglectful and never really paid that much attention to him. And Danny, I don't even know what they even give that much of a story with his dad, really. I,
With Johnny's dad?
with Danny's dad.
Oh no, Danny's dad just isn't in the picture.
Yeah, I don't even know if they give even any type of
No,
story
they
with
really don't talk about it. I don't even think they were. I think the very beginning of Karate Kid 1 is he moves from Jersey all the way to there because his mom gets a job, and so
Yeah.
he had to move all the way there. His father is never mentioned. His father either passed away before that or they got divorced. But I presume he died because it's not like he talks about him in a bad way, or it's like
Mm,
there's no
okay.
like leftover. It's
Animosity.
more
Yeah.
yeah, and especially his mom is pretty like relaxed about stuff, so it does seem like maybe a natural cause of death or
Oh,
something happened
maybe.
or
Yeah.
I don't know. They never really go into it. Johnny
Somebody
Lawrence's dad just kind of like rut.
Yeah. But somebody let us know. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe.
I haven't maybe watched Karate Kid in a minute. Maybe they say something with his dad. Maybe his dad is actually a secret karate master or some shit, and that's what's gonna be revealed. He's gonna come back or some shit. Given this series, but Yeah. Besides for the main issue I hated, with the whole CGI Mr. Miyagi thing there, besides that, I still think this was a good send off to these characters. And that moment at the end, coming back full circle, with the first film. I did like that with Johnny. He gets his moment. Like you said, it brought it back to Johnny and Miguel, which was where we kind of fell in love with the story to begin
Yeah.
with those two. And
It
introducing so many of these
yeah.
other characters and everything like that. Even though I do like them, I do like Danny and LaRusso and his family. Well, his son's still kind of a bitch, but,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, he is. That's
with
why,
all
he says, like, "Hey, send your son over here to learn some Cobra Kai. He could use some, like, some change. He could use it, like, to use not being a pussy."
yeah, even that. So I do think it has that. So for me, I'd give it a tune in. For me, I'd give it a tune in.
That's been
So
tune-ins all around.
yeah, for Cobra Kai season 6, man. And we'll be here reviewing Cobra Kai Legend. Karate Kid Legends. I'm sorry, Karate Kid Legends when that comes out. I think that comes out in May. I want to say that film comes out. Let me see, May 30th. So we'll
Ooh,
be May 30th. There, we'll
you don't
be
have to wait for too long.
yeah for the more Karate Kid action. Yeah. So tune in. That's what I said all around
Yeah.
for Cobra Kai season 6. All right. We'll be heading out of here. Thank you, Dust. Thanks
Alright.
for joining me, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Much appreciated. I'll be back streaming tomorrow with Nick. We'll be doing a review for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Will be Your Friendly Neighborhood podcast that Saturday. Also doing a mid-season review for Invincible. Also doing Cobra Kai there. Nick also wanted to talk about that as well. There. And I'll see if I can maybe watch Purple Rain before then. I want to do a review of that
Rain.
for Black History Month. Purple Rain. There. And then no stream Sunday, but Monday I do have a stream there with Sage from Rated M for Immaturity. We're gonna be doing Daredevil 2003, the Ben Affleck Daredevil there. Did you like Daredevil '03?
Um, the director's cut, I thought, redeemed some of its issues. It really did, redeem quite a bit of it
Okay.
because it was notoriously cut to ribbons for the theatrical release.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the director's cut is pretty good.
It's not bad. I
Okay.
also, we do, there's a lot of race swapping, a lot of stuff that happens now that people are upset about it, and because it's usually done for petty, stupid reasons, and there's really no reason for it. I don't think a lot of people mind. There was purists that didn't like
Michael Clark Duncan.
yeah, Michael Duncan, but I think he just did enough of a job that we're like, well, if you are going to race swap him, you got the right guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you think big physically imposing
Yeah,
guy
no,
back
no,
then,
it's more in the sense of usually they either change it with like a weaker or character that doesn't fit for the race swap or something like that. Nobody complained about Mark Clark Duncan. That's my point.
yeah.
That's an example of a good change. Like if you're gonna do it, go all the way and actually do it.
Yeah.
But
Um yeah, so that's coming up there. Um and then
it's
also
Kingpin.
Devilman Crybaby. Probably do a review for that if I can watch it there. And then I think maybe Sage and his other crew, Radio Infantry, are gonna come on and do a review for Section 31. Do that. But yeah. So that's what we got stream wise planned. I'm gonna send you all over to Cosmopolitics there, movie night extravaganza. Actually, I'll probably rate movie night extravaganza there. They're doing I think they're talking about the Oscars, I think. That's what they're talking about
Mm.
there. Which don't know if we're gonna do a live stream for that yet. Depends for if I'm busy that day. But yeah, I would love to. But send you all over there. Yeah. Thank you again, Dust. Thank you to people that showed up. Very much
Oh yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Yeah. So to all you people out there, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Out of here.
Yeah.